The transport shook as plasma fire ripped through the hull plating. Lieutenant Kara Bennett threw herself against the bulkhead, her rifle clattering to the deck. 3 seconds until breach. 2, 1. The explosion tore open the starboard wall and sucked out atmosphere in a screaming rush. Kara's mag boots locked down hard. She watched Private Danny Ortiz tumble past her into the void, his scream lost in the decompression roar. Gone. Just like that. Emergency seals slammed down. The hissing stopped. Kara's ears rang in the sudden quiet. "Everyone sound off," she gasped into her comm. 4 voices responded. 4 out of 12. The Vrexen had hit them harder than intelligence predicted. Always harder. Always faster. The enemy never fought fair. That's what Command told them anyway. Kara grabbed her rifle and moved toward the breach point. Through the twisted metal she saw the asteroid's surface. Rocky, barren. Their transport had crashed on the far side of the mining colony they were supposed to defend, which meant the colonists were already dead. "Ma'am, movement outside," Corporal Jake Morrison said from the airlock. Kara edged forward and peered through the emergency porthole. A Vrexen soldier limped across the regolith 50 meters out. Its exosuit was cracked, leaking atmosphere. It dragged something behind it. Another Vrexen, dead from the look of it. "Easy shot," Morrison whispered, raising his rifle. "Wait." The wounded Vrexen stopped near a shallow crater. It knelt slowly, painfully, and began scraping at the loose rock with its upper appendages. Digging. The dead one lay beside it. "What's it doing?" Morrison asked. Kara watched in silence. The Vrexen dug for 3 minutes. 4. Its movements grew weaker. The suit's breach was killing it. It had maybe 10 minutes of air left, maybe less. But it kept digging. When the hole was deep enough, the Vrexen lowered its fallen comrade inside with what looked like reverence. It arranged the body carefully. Then it began pushing rocks back over the corpse, covering it, burying it. "They don't do that," Morrison said. "They don't bury their dead." Kara's throat went tight. Everything Command had told them said the Vrexen were animals, hive-minded drones who threw themselves at human positions without thought or feeling. Monsters who needed to be exterminated before they exterminated humanity. But monsters didn't bury their fallen. The Vrexen finished and stayed kneeling. It placed one appendage on the mound of rocks. Kara couldn't see its face through the helmet, but the gesture was unmistakable. Mourning. "Orders, ma'am?" Morrison's finger hovered over the trigger. Kara couldn't breathe. Everything she'd been taught, everything she'd believed for 3 years of war. The Vrexen was dying out there. One shot and it would be over. But her hand wouldn't move to give the order. The Vrexen collapsed beside the grave. Its suit's indicator lights flickered from green to amber to red. 30 seconds of air, maybe less. Kara's hand moved to the airlock release. "Ma'am, what are you doing?" Morrison grabbed her wrist. She jerked free. "Get a pressure suit ready. Emergency patch kit. Medical supplies. For that thing?" "That's an order, Corporal." Morrison stared at her like she'd lost her mind. Maybe she had. 3 years fighting the Vrexen. 3 years watching them tear through human defenses with what Command called ruthless efficiency. Brutal. Merciless. Inhuman. But humans buried their dead too. Kara sealed her helmet and cycled the airlock. The outer door opened and she stepped onto the asteroid's surface. Her boots crunched on loose rock. The Vrexen didn't move. She crossed the distance in long, low-gravity bounds. Up close, she could see the damage. The exosuit's chest plate was split wide open. Atmosphere vented in weak spurts. The Vrexen's primary breathing apparatus struggled visibly through the crack. It saw her. 4 eyes behind the faceplate, focused, with obvious effort. Its secondary appendages moved toward a sidearm holstered at its waist. Kara raised her hands, rifle slung across her back. "I'm not here to kill you." The Vrexen probably couldn't understand English. Command said they communicated through pheromones and electromagnetic pulses. No common language. No way to negotiate. Except the Vrexen's hand stopped halfway to its weapon. Morrison's voice crackled in her ear. "Suit's ready. You're insane, you know that? Bring it out. Now." She knelt slowly, keeping her movements visible and non-threatening. The Vrexen watched her with what she could only describe as confusion. Its chest heaved. 15 seconds of air. 10. Morrison bounded out with the emergency suit. Human designed, but the Vrexen anatomy wasn't that different. 4 limbs, bipedal, slightly larger. It would work. The Vrexen's eyes started to glaze. 5 seconds. Kara grabbed the patch kit and slapped an emergency seal over the suit breech. The venting stopped. She activated the emergency oxygen injector and slammed it against the Vrexen's chest plate. The chemical reaction hissed and compressed oxygen flooded the damaged suit. The Vrexen gasped. A horrible, rattling sound that translated across species. "Help me get it back to the transport," Kara said. Morrison hesitated for only a second before grabbing one of the Vrexen's arms. Together they hauled it upright. It didn't resist, didn't fight. Just stared at Kara with those 4 alien eyes. They got it inside and into the cargo bay. Kara sealed the doors and repressurized. The Vrexen slumped against the wall, breathing hard. "You just brought the enemy onto our ship," Morrison said quietly. "I know. They'll court-martial you for this. I know." The Vrexen's suit radio crackled. Not words, a series of tones and pulses. Then static. Kara's comm channel exploded with activity. "All units, be advised. Vrexen forces withdrawing from the colony. Repeat, enemy is retreating. No explanation. Command wants answers." She looked at the Vrexen. It looked back. One of the other survivors, Specialist Lauren Cross, pushed into the cargo bay. She froze when she saw their guest. Her hand went to her sidearm. "Stand down," Kara said. "Ma'am, that's I said stand down." Cross didn't lower her weapon. "They killed Danny." "And you brought one here?" The Vrexen made a sound. Low and rhythmic. Its secondary appendages moved in a pattern that seemed almost deliberate, communicative. Kara's tactical display lit up, sensors picking up something big. A Vrexen capital ship breaking orbit. Not attacking. Leaving. "Why are they running?" Morrison asked. Kara didn't answer. She was watching the Vrexen. It had pulled something from a compartment in its suit. A small device. Holographic. It activated and projected an image into the air. A Vrexen. Different one. Smaller. With 2 even smaller Vrexen beside it. Family. "Oh, God," Cross whispered. The Vrexen touched the hologram gently. Then it looked at Kara and made that sound again. Different this time. Softer. "Gratitude. 3 years of war. 3 years of being told the Vrexen were soulless killers. And here one sat, showing her pictures of its children." Kara's hands shook. "We need to make contact with command. Real contact. Not through weapons. They'll never listen," Morrison said. "They have to." Kara looked at the grave outside, visible through the porthole. "Because if we've been wrong about this, what else have we been wrong about?" The Vrexen's breathing steadied. Kara watched its chest rise and fall in a rhythm that seemed almost human, almost familiar. She'd killed dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Never thought about their breathing before. "Command is hailing us," Morrison said from the cockpit. "They want a status report." Kara stood. "Tell them we have wounded, need immediate evacuation." "And the Vrexen? Don't mention it yet." She moved closer to their guest. The holograms still flickered in the air between them. A family. The smaller ones had the same 4-eyed configuration, same appendage structure. One of them appeared to be holding something. A toy, maybe. Did Vrexen children play? The creature's radio crackled again. More tones. Then something else. A voice. Distorted but unmistakably attempting human phonetics. "Thank you." Everyone in the cargo bay went silent. "It speaks English?" Cross's gun wavered. The Vrexen's appendages moved to a translator device built into its collar. It must have been damaged in the crash, sparking, malfunctioning. "Learn. Language. But learn." "Why forbidden?" Kara asked. The Vrexen's eyes dimmed slightly. "Leaders say humans, monsters, cannot reason with monsters." The words hit like a physical blow. Kara stepped back. "They told you the same thing about us." "Yes," Morrison cursed under his breath. This whole war. Both sides thinking the other can't be reasoned with. The Vrexen gestured to the grave outside. Brother. Died. Humans. I. Bury. Him. With. Honor. You. Save. Me. It paused, the translator crackling. Why? Kara didn't have a good answer. Because you buried your brother. Because monsters don't mourn. The Vrexen made that soft sound again. Our leaders. Wrong. Your leaders. Wrong. Is. Lie. The transport's main comm system screamed to life. Not Morrison's voice. Command directly. Lieutenant Bennett, this is Admiral Fletcher. We're tracking unusual Vrexen activity in your sector. Capital ships withdrawing. We need intel. What's your situation? Kara grabbed the comm handset. Her career was about to end. She knew it, but some things mattered more than careers. Admiral, I have a Vrexen survivor in custody. It's wounded, non-hostile, and it speaks English. Silence on the other end. Then, say again, Lieutenant. The Vrexen can communicate. They've been learning our language. Their command structure told them the same lies ours told us. Sir, I don't think this war needs to be happening. You've lost your mind. Secure that alien and prepare for... The Vrexen grabbed Kara's arm, gentle but urgent. It pointed to its radio. The tones were getting more frequent, more insistent. What is it? Kara asked. The translator sputtered. My fleet knows you saved me. They broadcast to all ships human showed mercy. First time in war. They are confused, angry, hopeful. All at once. Cross lowered her weapon completely. You mean the whole Vrexen fleet knows what happened here? Debate happening now. Some want to understand why human would save enemy. Fletcher's voice cut back in. Lieutenant, what's happening? We're detecting massive comm traffic from the Vrexen fleet. They're not attacking, but they're not leaving either. Kara's mind raced. The Vrexen were debating, which meant they could debate, which meant they weren't the mindless drones command described. They had factions, disagreements, politics, just like humans. Admiral, I need you to listen very carefully. The Vrexen fleet is waiting to see what we do next. They know I saved one of theirs. This could be our chance to end this. End it? They've killed millions of our people, and we've killed millions of theirs. Sir, please, let me try to talk to them. Another long silence. Kara could almost hear the Admiral's thoughts. The risk, the impossibility, the sheer insanity of trusting the enemy, but also the hope. You have 10 minutes, Fletcher finally said. If this goes wrong, Bennett, it's on you. The line went dead. Kara turned to the Vrexen. Can you contact your fleet? Tell them we want to talk? Can. Try. But they may not listen to me. Am low rank soldier like. Then we'll be low rank soldiers trying to stop a war together. The Vrexen's appendages moved in what might have been agreement. It activated its radio and began transmitting. The tones filled the cargo bay, alien and strange but somehow carrying meaning, emotion, plea. Morrison pulled up the sensor display. Ma'am, the Vrexen capital ship is changing position, moving closer. Weapons hot? No, just waiting. The Vrexen finished its transmission and looked at Kara Eichtel. Them. Truth. Human. Could. Have. Let. Me. Die. Chose. Life. Instead. Ask. Them. To. Choose. Life. To. Kara's tactical display showed 3 more human destroyers entering the sector. Fletcher wasn't taking chances. Both fleets were now in position. One wrong move, and this whole thing would explode into the biggest battle of the war. Or into something else entirely. The Vrexen capital ship launched a shuttle. Small, unarmed, It descended toward the asteroid in a slow, deliberate arc. "They're sending someone," Morrison said. "Single occupant. No weapon signatures." Fletcher's voice erupted through the comm. "Bennett, aboard contact. We're scrambling interceptors. Sir, they're unarmed." "This is what we wanted." "What you wanted." "I have 3 destroyers ready to turn that shuttle into debris." Kara looked at the Vrexen. It watched the shuttle approach with an expression she couldn't read. "Is this normal? Do your people send unarmed envoys?" "Never. In war, we send only death." The translator struggled with the next word. "This is new." "Admiral, hold your fire," Kara said. "If we shoot now, we prove everything their leaders told them about us." Cross stepped forward. "She's right, sir. We fire first. We're the monsters." The line crackled. Fletcher was conferring with someone. Probably the entire Joint Chiefs by now. "Finally, you have authorization to make contact. But Bennett, our weapons stay hot. One wrong move from them and we glass that whole ship." The shuttle touched down 20 meters from the transport. The airlock cycled. A single Vrexen emerged. This one was different. Larger. Its exosuit was decorated with markings that suggested rank. It carried no weapons but moved with the confidence of someone who'd commanded many. Kara activated her helmet and stepped outside. The Vrexen commander stopped 10 meters away. They faced each other across the barren rock. The commander's translator was better, clearer. "I am Designate Brell, Fleet Tactical Coordinator. You are the human who saved Trooper Keln, so the one she rescued had a name. Kelm. Lieutenant Kara Bennett, United Earth Forces." Vrell's 4 eyes studied her. "For 3 cycles we fight. Never have we seen mercy. From you or from us. Why now? Because Keln buried his brother. I watched him do it, and I realized everything I'd been told about your people was wrong. We are told humans cannot feel, cannot understand honor or grief. That you fight only for conquest. But Keln says you risked your life for his. This does not match what we know." Kara took a breath. "What if neither of us knows the truth? What if we've both been lied to?" Vrell was silent. Behind him, the capital ship hung in space. Behind Kara, 3 human destroyers waited with charged weapons. Hundreds of thousands of lives balanced on whatever happened in the next few minutes. "Our leaders say this war must be total," Vrell finally said. "Your species or ours. No alternative. Our leaders say the same thing. Then both sets of leaders are wrong." The simple statement hung in the vacuum between them. Kara felt something shift. A hairline crack in 3 years of absolute certainty. "Keln wants to speak," Vrell continued. "He asked to come. I refused. Too dangerous. But he gave me message for you." The translator paused. "He says his brother's name was Drex had newly bonded mate, 2 offspring. Cal must tell them Drex died honorably. That enemy showed respect even in death. He says this will confuse them, but also give them peace." Kara's throat tightened. "I'm sorry for your loss. For Drex. For all of them. I am sorry for yours. The colony. Your soldier who is pulled into void. War takes much from both sides." It doesn't have to." Vrell's appendages moved in what might have been frustration. "How do we stop? My fleet wants blood. Your fleet wants blood. Millions already dead. How do we tell them to simply cease?" "I don't know, but we have to try." Morrison's voice crackled in Kara's helmet. "Ma'am, we're getting reports from other sectors. Word is spreading. Human and Vrexen troops are hesitating, some refusing orders to engage. Both sides are confused." Vrell's radio buzzed. He listened, then looked at Kara. "My commander's reports same. Lower ranks questioning. Asking why we fight if enemy shows honor. The soldiers know," Kara said. "They're the ones dying. They're the ones who want this to end. But leaders control fleets, control weapons. They will not surrender power easily." An idea formed in Kara's mind. Reckless. Probably impossible. But everything about this situation was impossible. What if we don't give them a choice? What if we prove to everyone watching that this war is based on lies? How? Kara gestured to both fleets. Right now, thousands of soldiers on both sides are watching us, waiting to see what happens. What if we showed them the truth? What if you and I walked into the middle of both fleets and refused to fight? They would order us to fall back. And if we refused? If other soldiers saw us refuse and decided to do the same? Vrel considered this mutiny. For both of us, we would be executed. Maybe, or maybe enough people are tired of dying that they'll stand with us. The radio traffic intensified, both human and Vrexen channels lighting up. Questions, confusion. Some voices calling for attack, others calling for restraint. The crack was widening. Vrel extended one appendage, not a weapon. An offer, if we do this. If we try to end war, we do it together. Kara reached out and gripped the alien limb. Together. Fletcher's voice exploded in Kara's helmet. Bennett, what the hell are you doing? Step away from that alien now. Negative, sir. We're ending this. You don't have the authority to. Kara switched off her command channel. Morrison would relay anything critical. Right now, she needed to focus. Vrel was doing the same with his communications. My superiors are displeased. They threaten severe punishment. Mine too. Guess we're both in trouble. They started walking, not toward either fleet, toward the open space between them. The contested ground where 100 battles had been fought, where the next battle was supposed to happen. Kara's sensor display showed weapons tracking their movement. Human and Vrexen targeting systems locked on. One nervous trigger finger and they'd both be vapor. We should broadcast, Vrel said. Let all hear our words. Kara activated her suit's emergency beacon. Maximum power. It would punch through to every receiver in range. Military and civilian. Human and Vrexen. Vrel did the same. This is Lieutenant Kara Bennett, United Earth Forces. 3 hours ago I watched a Vrexen soldier bury his fallen brother with honor. Then I saved that soldier's life. I was taught the Vrexen were incapable of emotion. Incapable of reason. I was taught wrong. Vrel's translator carried his words across both fleets. This is Designate Vrel, Vrexen Tactical Command. 3 hours ago, human soldier showed mercy to Trooper Kelm. Risked life for enemy. We were taught humans know only violence, know only hate. We were taught wrong. Silence on the radio channels. Complete silence. Thousands listening. Kara continued. Command told us this war was necessary. That the Vrexen wanted to exterminate humanity. That negotiation was impossible. But I'm standing here with Designate Vrel and we're negotiating just fine. Our leaders told us humans started aggression, Vrel added. That you attacked our colony ships without provocation. That peace was never option. But Lieutenant Bennett shows me this is false. Peace is possible if we choose it. Morrison's voice cut through on the local channel. Kara, you need to hear this. Soldiers on the UES Valiant are refusing to power weapons. They're listening to your broadcast. Some of them are standing down. Vrel's radio crackled. Multiple Vrexen vessels reporting same. Crew members questioning orders. Some requesting permission to cease hostile actions. The crack was becoming a fracture. A new voice joined the channel. Deep, authoritative. Admiral Fletcher. Lieutenant Bennett, you are directly violating orders. Return to your transport immediately or face court-martial. Before Kara could respond, another voice, harsh. Alien, speaking through translation matrix. Designate Vrel, you dishonor fleet. You dishonor all Vrexen. Terminate communication with enemy or face execution. Vrel looked at Kara. She looked back. They kept walking. Admiral, Kara said calmly. With respect, I'm not violating my oath. I swore to protect humanity, and right now the best way to do that is to stop this war. You do not make that decision. Neither do you, sir. Not anymore. Every soldier listening right now gets to make their own choice. Keep fighting a war built on lies, or choose something different. Cross's voice joined the broadcast. This is Specialist Lauren Cross. I lost friends today, lost them to Vrexen weapons. and I'm angry. But I'm more angry that we were lied to, that we were told the enemy couldn't be reasoned with when clearly they can. I stand with Lieutenant Bennett. Morrison next. Corporal Jake Morrison. Same. If there's a chance to end this without more death, we have to take it. From the Vrexen side, new voices. Translated but clear. Trooper sound. I agree with Vrel. Too many lost. Too much blood. We were told lies. Technician Vax. I have offspring. I want them to grow without war. I support peace attempt. More voices joined. Dozens. Then hundreds. Human and Vrexen. Soldiers who'd been killing each other hours ago now agreeing that maybe, just maybe, they'd been pointed at the wrong enemy. The real enemy wasn't the other species. It was the lie both sides had been fed. Fletcher's voice returned. Different now. Less certain. Bennett, even if what you're saying is true, we can't just stop fighting. The casualties we've taken, the colonies we've lost, there has to be accountability, Vrel responded. Admiral speaks truth. My people demand same, justice for fallen. How do we provide this if we cease combat? Kara stopped walking. They'd reached the exact center point between the fleets, equal distance from human and Vrexen forces. Neutral ground that had never existed before. We start with the truth, she said. Both sides. Complete transparency. We find out how this war really started. Who fired first? Who lied about what? And we hold those people accountable. Not the soldiers. Not the civilians. The ones who built the lie. You suggest we investigate our own leaders? Vrel asked. I'm saying we investigate together. Joint commission. Human and Vrexen. We dig until we find the truth, and then we show everyone. No more secrets. No more manipulation. Fletcher was silent for a long moment. That would require both sides to stand down, to trust each other. Yes, sir. That's asking a lot. Less than we're asking soldiers to keep dying for a lie. Another voice joined. Female. Cold. Lieutenant Bennett, you've created a diplomatic incident that could destabilize the entire war effort. Admiral Fletcher, I'm ordering you to detain that officer immediately. But Fletcher didn't respond to Hartman. Instead, Bennett, if I agree to this, if I order a ceasefire, and the Vrexen don't reciprocate, my ships are vulnerable. Vrel's superior broke in. If Vrexen fleet stands down and humans attack, we face annihilation. Risk is equal. The two fleets hung in space. Weapons charged. Crews divided. Some ready to fight. Others ready to stop. Kara made her choice. She unsealed her helmet and removed it. Stood in hard vacuum with nothing but her emergency respirator. Completely exposed. Vrel understood immediately. He opened his faceplate. Two soldiers. Two species. Vulnerable together. We trust first, Kara said into her suit radio. Someone has to. 60 seconds of air in an emergency respirator. Kara's timer counted down. 55. 50. Vrel's breathing apparatus cycled rapidly in the thin atmosphere. They'd both die out here if rescue didn't come. But rescue would mean choosing a side. The radio channels erupted. Voices screaming. Commands and counter-commands. Fletcher ordering her back. Vrel's superiors demanding his return. Hartman threatening military tribunals. Chaos across both fleets. Then a single shuttle launched from the UES Valiant. Another from the Vrexen capital ship. Both headed for the asteroid. 40 seconds. Morrison's voice cut through the noise. Kara, the Valiant's crew voted. They're coming to get you. Captain tried to stop them, but half the bridge crew sided with the mutineers. Vrel's radio translated incoming Vrexen transmissions. Similar action on my vessel. Junior officer sees shuttle. They come for us both. 30 seconds. Kara's vision started to blur. Vrel was swaying. The shuttles reached them simultaneously. Airlocks opened. Human Marines and Vrexen troopers poured out. For a terrible moment, Kara thought it would end in gunfire. Species instinct overriding everything else. But the Marines grabbed Kara, while the troopers grabbed Vrel. They hauled them into their respective shuttles. Doors sealed. Pressure equalized. Kara gasped real air. Her lungs burned. Across from her, 6 Marines stared. Not sure if they'd rescued a hero or a traitor. "Ma'am," one of them finally said, "Captain Quinn sends his regrets. He's been relieved of command by Admiral Fletcher, but the crew voted to come anyway." Through the viewport, Kara saw the Vrexen shuttle returning to its ship. Vrel was alive. That mattered, the Marine continued. "What happens now? We just committed mutiny. All of us. We're looking at life in prison." Kara sat up slowly. "What happens now is, we find out if enough people want peace more than they want revenge." The shuttle docked with the Valiant. The airlock opened to reveal 200 crew members, silent, waiting. Behind them, security forces with weapons drawn. Fletcher's voice boomed through the ship's PA system. "All personnel who participated in the unauthorized shuttle launch are under arrest. Weapons down. Now." Nobody moved. A young ensign stepped forward. Couldn't have been more than 20. "Admiral, with respect, we're not fighting anymore. Not until someone explains why we started." "That's not your decision to make, Ensign." "Maybe it should be." The security forces looked at each other, uncertain. One of them lowered his rifle, then another. Within seconds, all of them had stood down. Fletcher appeared on the deck, face red, furious, but also something else, tired. "You're asking me to end a war based on the word of one alien," he said to Kara. "I'm asking you to question whether it needed to start." Fletcher looked at his crew, at the faces watching him, waiting. "If I order a ceasefire and they don't honor it, people die. Your people. My responsibility. And if we keep fighting, people die anyway. But for what?" The Valiant's communications officer called out. "Sir, we're receiving transmission from the Vrexen flagship. They're requesting direct channel with you." Fletcher hesitated, then nodded. The view screen activated. A Vrexen appeared. Massive. Scarred. The translator identified it as Supreme Commander Thex. "Admiral Fletcher, designate Vrel has been imprisoned for treason, as has Trooper Keln. They will face execution for consorting with enemy." Kara's heart sank. Fletcher's jaw tightened. "Then we have nothing to discuss. Unless..." Thex paused. "Unless you execute Lieutenant Bennett. Then we are equal. Both punish those who sought peace. Honor is maintained." "War continues." The deck went silent. Fletcher looked at Kara. She met his eyes. Didn't flinch. "No," Fletcher said quietly. "Then you are weak, we will." I said no. "You want to execute Vrel and Kell for trying to save lives? That's your choice. But I'm not killing Bennett. She showed me that maybe we don't know the whole story. And I'm damn well going to find out what it is before more people die." Thex's appendages moved in clear agitation. "You refuse honor combat? You disgrace yourself." "I refuse pointless death. There's a difference." Behind Thex, commotion. Vrexen voices raised in what sounded like argument. The view screen shifted, and Kara saw multiple Vrexen in what looked like a command center, divided, shouting at each other through translators. One of them pushed Tex aside. Smaller, familiar. Keln. His translator was damaged but functional. Thex wrong. Crew voted like humans. We, not. Execute. Vrel, want. Truth. About. Thex roared something untranslated and struck Keln. But other Vrexen grabbed Thex, held him back. Revolution. On both sides simultaneously. The communications officer spoke again. "Admiral, we're getting reports from across the sector. Multiple human vessels refusing combat orders. Same with Vrexen forces. It's spreading." Fletcher slumped into his chair, looked at the chaos on both sides. Then he started laughing. Exhausted, borderline hysterical. 3 years, he said. 3 years of warfare. And it ends because one lieutenant couldn't follow orders. Kara allowed herself a small smile. "Not ended, sir. Just paused. We still have to figure out how it started. Who lied? Why? That's gonna take years. Investigations. Tribunals. Better than fighting." Thex broke free of his captors. "This changes nothing. War will resume." But Kellen stepped in front of him. "No. Enough. We vote. All Vrexen. We decide together." Fletcher looked at Kara. She looked back. "Together," she said. 3 months later, The Joint Commission released its findings. The war had started with a misunderstanding. A human exploration ship had entered what the Vrexen considered sacred space. Warnings were sent but never received due to incompatible communications systems. The Vrexen fired warning shots. Humans interpreted them as attacks. Both sides escalated, and then the lies began. Leaders on both sides saw advantage in conflict. Resources to claim, power to consolidate. They fed propaganda to their people and sent them to die. Millions dead because of a misunderstanding and the leaders who exploited it. Those leaders faced justice, human and Vrexen, together. Kara stood at the memorial on the asteroid, where it all changed, where Keln had buried Drex, where she'd made the choice to save a life instead of take one. Vrel approached from the other side. They met at the grave marker. Human and Vrexen design merged. Names of the fallen from both species carved into stone. "They want to promote you," Vrel said. "Make you symbol of peace. Same for you?" "Yes," I declined. "Prefer to remain simple, soldier." Kara smiled. "Me too." They stood together in comfortable silence. Two species. Former enemies. Now something else. Not quite friends yet, but get